Alright, this is also from Roanoke Rampage back in 2012. Roanoke Civic Center. It's for the welterweight championship. Features Bruce Abramski, from the Star City Fight Club, taking on a real tough grinder, Matt the Masher Messer. And the Masher, he had won a very tough, hard-fought title elimination bout to get to this. Bruce was 2-0 in my organization at the time. Both guys very deserving of this. They come out and touch gloves, and we get underway here. You see the Masher, he is exactly what he says he is. He's kind of a grinder, while you see Abramski is sort of a long guy who does a lot of work, from the outside, kind of a, stand-up guy. And there you see a kick, which immediately the Masher takes down and winds up in the side of Bruce. Now, if you notice here, the Masher is, on his side, but, what should be happening here is Bruce should be turning in to his left, but he winds up giving up his back. If you watch here, this is a good, I guess what you would say a good position. He's even got the arm on the neck. Abramski is doing a good job of hand fighting, as always. Referee Mike Troxel is right there in the way, but he does do a good job of hand fighting here, and getting to the position where he's not actually being threatened with the choke anymore. So now he winds up on his feet, with Messer on top of Messer on his back. And, it's one of those things where, main event fight, 3 5-minute rounds, he's got to weather the storm. Masher obviously is in the better position here, and he's looking sort of to transition out. Now, look, Bruce has a good, technique right here where you trap this one arm. He should be throwing it over his head, but he lets go for whatever reason and winds up almost in a choke again. Masher's having a hard time finishing this. Bruce is going to have to go back to hand fighting here to try to get out of this position. Could have ended right here, but unable to secure that rear naked choke. Good hand fighting from Abramski. Now you see Abramski doing what you're supposed to do, and then he winds up getting caught in an arm lock here. Great transition from Matt Messer. And you look here, it's just like, oh man, how many submissions can he get out of? But he actually picks him up, which you really don't want to do. Here you want to stack up your opponent like he's doing right here. Of course, Mike Troxel always in the way. And now he transitions right to a triangle. Okay, so he should have been stacking him up. He's actually already out of this triangle, and he winds up taking the back of Messer. Now, he should be getting that left leg in, getting that left hook in, but Masher is able to get up and, sort of secure one of the arms. He's sort of pushing him back into the cage. So he actually turns in, and here's where it gets real, important, your pummeling skills. Masher's up against the fence. He's got one underhook under his right hand, and then, of course, Abramski has his right underhook. So you could tell how important pummeling is right here. The Masher is really known for pushing guys against the fence and sort of taking them out of their game plan there. But you see, Abramski is trying to, pummel for double underhooks, get a good position, not get taken back down. He did allow Masher to switch him up there, and now Bruce is against the fence where, you really don't want to be when you're fighting a grinder, guy who just comes in and pushes continually. You don't want to be pushed up against the cage. I think Abramski, would want to have a little bit of space in between them so that he could throw off strikes and, really keep his distance a little bit away from the Masher here. But they don't call him the Masher for nothing. He's very tough. He's a grinder. And there you see a right hand from the Masher. Now they're back into striking range. This is where Bruce really wants to be. The Masher is still putting on pressure, doing a good job of keeping Abramski off, off kilter, so to speak. And, a kick right there. Still not in the right range. Not really finding his range as well as you would think he would. You know, probably trained real hard for this fight, but here's where he should be throwing combinations. Once again, you know, this is the problem. You know that your opponent is going to try to clinch and take you down, so you have to be careful. You don't want to get too close. And there you see the masher pulling on the legs, trying to get them to come, you know, get Bruce down and get him on the ground again. Pretty good defense right here so far. The masher is definitely, you know, once again, like we said, pressure fighter. It's going to stay, you know, very close to him the whole time. And eventually, you know, it just wears on you. It makes you physically and mentally exhausted. And there you see the end of the round. And, you know, the masher and Abramski both move back to their respective corners. You know, a lot of people wonder why corners lift the legs of their fighters. I can tell you this. One thing that happens, just like when you're sitting on the toilet, you know, your feet get a little bit tingly and you know, circulation might not be as good. You want to lift them legs up, get them closer to the heart so that you can pump some blood through there and not get those legs falling asleep. But the masher right there, you can tell, I definitely think he won that round pretty easily. And, you know, just looking at it from the judge's perspective there, you know, you think that he probably won that one 10-9. Pretty easy round to judge. He had the back in the beginning and came off with the kick and the takedown, had the better positions, and overall just, you know, pretty much won that round pretty easily. So as we get ready for round two, referee Mike Troxel is going to get it started again here. One thing about the masher, you know, he went on after this to become a pro. This was sort of his way of testing the waters, 3 5-minute rounds. And you see he's got an unorthodox type of striking game. Nice leg kick right there from Abramski. And, you know, a very difficult guy to, you know, really gauge, because you get too close, he's going to clinch with you. And there's a nice right hand from Messer. If you too far away, you're not really landing anything on him. But the kicks right there are getting in. And, you know, Abramski gets a good right hand over the top. And the masher is definitely worked. A nice little switch kick there from the masher. And there you see another little left. And the masher is choosing to fall into Abramski's sort of game plan here. You know, keeping Abramski on the outside. And Abramski is landing some great kicks. Some good stand-up. And here you see masher eventually says, well, I'm going to, you know, do what I do best. Push him against the fence and go for this single leg here. So he's got the single leg. He's got the head where he wants it on the inside. It's not always easy to pull that off. Abramski does a good job of controlling the head. And then the masher eventually gets into this body lock position. This is definitely where you want to be. Nice body lock. And, you know, Abramski's fighting right here. This is what you want to do. Exactly what you want to do. You want to pummel for that double underhook and try to make it so the masher doesn't have his underhooks on you. But, you know, here's the masher. Definitely, you know, this is when you look at a fight like this, too, and you're actually there, this is grueling. You know, constant pummeling, constant just in general, you know, body up against the fence, wrestling type stuff. It's very difficult to, I guess what you would say, maintain a type of pace that they are. But that's what the masher does, you know, man. He pushes you against the fence, he tires you out, and then, you know, he wins the fight in the later rounds. To get to this fight, he won a unanimous decision against Charlie Mann. There you see a couple of strikes, which leads to the takedown. Bruce is actually in a bad position where you don't want to be. If the masher knew the Von Flue choke, he would probably be hitting that right now on Abramski, but he really doesn't know it, so he's moving to the side and using that left hand to throw strikes. But you got to say right now, with the takedown, the position, the masher's totally winning this round as well, as he moves into kind of a side mount position. A kick there from Abramski, and you know, the masher is just moving through that guard. Got to watch out for the up kick here, but he he's going through and throwing strikes and passing. That's, any guy that I ever trained, that's what I try to get him to do, is pass to the side and be in that dominant position. Now, whether it be mount or side mount here, where you've got the masher, and you just got to say it's a tough, here's Abramski. He's got a hard time here. He's not really a grappling guy. He's a long guy. He should be trying to get that, get on his side. He's flat on his back here, not really doing a good job of shrimping in, trying to get that guard back. And when you see this fight, you think, well, now he goes and he gets on his side and he starts to shrimp. And that's what you want right there. That the masher actually is forced to stand back up. And Abramski did a good job of, making that happen, trying to get back to the guard. A lot of guys don't mind getting put back in guard or the side mount. And here you see Matt Messer is going for a leg lock. I think he realizes the round is almost over, and he decides to go for it. And he actually flips Abramski up in the air, and then they touch gloves, a mutual sign of respect, and they go back at it. But a great scramble. Abramski was able to get back on his feet. That's what he really wants, and he's got a little bit of catching up to do here, because Messer's definitely winning that round. Here he goes again. He winds up in the, shooting in, sort of getting his hips in. Abramski does a good job of keeping him standing here, not getting taken down again. And hard to see from the camera angle, but, pretty good takedown defense here. Once again, though, the masher is mashing him up against the fence. The masher is, keeping him at bay. There you see a takedown, and, that's how the round's going to end. I mean, once again, you have to say that second round has got to go to the masher, Matt Messer. And, Abramski is probably down 2-0. I mean, you have to wonder if his corner's telling him, hey, we need to go for, go for the finish. Here you see one of our lovely Hooters cage girls running around through the cage. And you got to wonder what he's telling him, got to go for the knockout punch. What kind of, stuff is going on here? It's hard to say. I know that a lot of corners don't like to go for broke or whatever. I'd rather my guy go out on the shield than lose a decision. But at the same time, you got to say, I mean, I don't see how anyone could judge in any other way. But, of course, maybe some other judges went that way with it. If you notice, this was a great show. We had Renzo Gracie there. I don't think you can see him, but you see Paul Creighton and Tim Manning in the corner over there. So here's the final round. You got to think Abramski's got to go for broke here and go for a knockout. Last 5 minutes of the fight. The masher is once again good at the kind of grinding game that he has, and I'm pretty sure he's up 2-0 as far as the judges are concerned. Nice little jab. He's got an unorthodox sort of striking style. Now he gets in here into this sort of clinch, and you get a good close-up look of it. Abramski doing a good job with the Muay Thai plum. I guess that's more his game, and he did pretty well right there. Here's where Messer, or the masher, whatever you want to call him, is really playing with fire. He's on the outside here. He's in Abramski's range. Abramski's been hitting him with some good leg kicks. You see a nice right hand from Abramski. Just doesn't seem to be a lot of pop or power on it. Maybe in the first early rounds, those type of punches would have had a lot more sting. But now, he's been grinding with Matt Messer. It's just a tough way to, pretty much fight a fight if a guy is stuck to you like like glue here. I mean, he's definitely, holding his own. But it just is a tough performance, a tough way, to fight a fight when a guy's just pushing you up against the fence. What is the answer to that? How do you get the guy not to push you up against the fence? Well, here's where pummeling becomes so important. And you see Abramski's looking to get that left arm under, and you just get used to pummel and pummel and pummel. maybe switching him out to the outside, pulling that head down, something, give him something that he's not used to in an attempt to try and, make this thing happen. But a lot of guys, when you see this, and there you see a good combination from Matt Messer, you're just like, man, how can one guy push another guy against the fence and just control him like this? Well, guys are good at it. I'll tell you what, Matthew Messer is one guy who's really good at this. This is sort of his thing, and when you see it, you just think to yourself, well, obviously, this is a style matchup. He is imposing his will, sort of, making it hard fight for Abramski. Abramski here should be pushing him away and looking to land some strikes. There you see the masher goes again, looking for a clinch and looking for that takedown. And Abramski's doing a good job of not getting caught, not getting taken down, but at the same time, he's, it's still not, the best position for him to be in right now. He needs to push him away. He needs to figure out some way to get some kind of distance and, try to knock the guy out, because I guess, I think everyone would agree he's down on the scorecards. But Matt Messer is for sure, a tough guy. It's easier said than done is really what I wanted to say. I mean, if you, like I say, well, I could get out of this position. Yeah, it's not that easy. I would be telling my guy, right there's the wizard, pull that head down, try to do something, try to get out of this, try to make him, move to where you can escape or get in a better position, like use that wizard. Now he's got double underhooks here. Bruce does a good job of getting that arm through pummeling. But, I mean, you have to give him some credit. He is pummeling well. He just can't get his back off of that fence. The masher is, living up to his nickname. It was a nice little nifty little knee thing there where he could pull his arm away. But still, masher's got that left arm underhook. Try to use that wizard. I would try to do something here. There you go. Try to get some space there and make him do something. It's easier said than done. And you got to say, referee Mike Troxell leaning up against the post. When does he decide, hey, we need a little bit more action. We need to break this up. And there you see some good strikes. Nice left hand from Messer. And, in this position, Abramski is just definitely, unable to get off his strikes and with any power. Now they finally separate, and we're going to see towards the end of the fight here, see what both of these guys are made of. And, now you see Messer is actually landing a few shots here, getting on the inside, and putting Bruce back a little bit. Nice kick there. Messer could have kicked a lot more because really, Bruce was trying not to take him down. There you see Bruce get a good combination and might have staggered Matt Messer, but the bell rings. We all have to say, what a great fight. In the end, you have to, most people would say that Matt Messer won all 3 rounds. And we wait for the judges' scorecard, of course. But a tough fight. Messer was in a 5-round war before. A 3-round, 5-minute war before. And then you see this one, sort of the same thing. Mutual respect from both teams. You got both guys. It didn't take our judges long to render a decision, and I think that everyone agrees with the decision because they're pretty cut and dry there. But Mike Troxell calls them both into the cage, into the center, and waiting for the decision to be read. A great fight. Doesn't really even begin to, state. But here's Matt Messer, the winner, the new VCC welterweight champion. He would go on to fight pro and sort of leave this amateur type thing behind. So winner by unanimous decision, Matthew the Masher Messer.